Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Tonight's our first meeting for 2018. This is our 30th year of being part of the Washington Federation of Republican Women. So, congratulations. So we have some special guests in the audience tonight. We have our Washington Federation of Republican Women's President, Drewry.
Hi, everyone.
We have some elected officials tonight. We have Eileen Quirey of Clark County. Liz Pike, State Representative. And we have Julie Olson here too, and she's and we have from the 17th, State Representative Vicki Kraft. Also, we just want to thank anyone that might be a first responder or a military active or veteran today. So thank you for your service. We'll go ahead and invite Eileen Morgan up to do our invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we welcome your presence among us tonight with outstretched arms and open hearts. We praise and thank you for all that you are accomplishing through your anointed and appointed leaders. We lift our amazing Clark County Republican women serving in local, state, and national positions before your throne. Thank you for your dedication and sacrifice. We pray Proverbs 12:1-12, wisdom over them, and your divine favor, protection, and provision. We ask the same for our President, Vice President, legislatures, and Justice Department leaders in D.C. Thank you for bringing our Washington State President, Drewry, to join our celebration, 30-year anniversary of CCRW. Bless her abundantly as she shares with us and installs our wonderful officers in 2018. According to Psalm 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and let justice roll down like waters in righteousness, like a mighty ever-flowing stream. Lord, we bless you for our food in the hands of the preparer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Eileen. Can I have everyone stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're getting started a little bit behind schedule, so I'm going to go ahead and dismiss everyone to line up for the buffet. So go ahead and grab your blue ticket and come over to the buffet and look at that and enjoy dinner. Whenever we have a question, she is always there, whether it's email or a phone call or text. It's like she is right here with us. And I really personally appreciate Dee's leadership because she's really helped us along. As you know, we had a restart last year, and if it weren't for Dee and the rest of the WFRW board, I don't think that we would have had such a successful year. So as a Clark County Republican Women's Club member, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping us grow up. I am going to bore you a little bit by reading Dee's bio. If you didn't get our press release, I want to go ahead and do her the honor of telling you a little bit more about her. So Dee was born and raised in Fresno, California, as the daughter daughter of a contractor, she learned how to swing a hammer at an early age. Upon completing school, she embarked upon a career in banking that spanned more than 2 decades. Dee retired from banking when she met and married her husband, Chris. During their early married years, they enjoyed extensive travels that took them internationally, as well as motoring across America in a 40-foot bus and cruising Alaska's Inside Passage. After a few years of seeing the sights, the Drewrys bought a cattle ranch in the Okanagan Highlands and simultaneously set out to develop a recreational community for 21 families on the shores of Lake Osoyoos. This is Washington, right? We have some interesting names. She currently works alongside her husband, creating technical drawings and proposals for a closely held business. These political activities have deep roots. As a teenager, she attended many left-leaning campaign events with an uncle. It was her banking career that created a conservative mindset, and voila, a Republican woman. Upon relocating to Wenatchee area, he joined the Shalon Douglas Republican Women's Club in 2009 and became an energetic participant. She served as publicity chair, treasurer, second vice president, membership, and currently the club's fiduciary chair. In 2011, she was asked to fill the vacated position of WFRW membership secretary and served as treasurer for 2 terms. He is also a member of the NFRW Technology Committee. She assumed the role of WFRW president in January of 2017. In addition to her involvement in the Federation, Dee held the Douglas County GOP vice chair position and was interim chair due to the chair's inability to fulfill his term. She has been the campaign treasurer for multiple candidates. CCRW is very fortunate to welcome Drewry tonight. So if everyone will join me in
up here, but we need Liz and we need Marjorie. And this is kind of new because I found out that you guys stagger your elections. And this is all brand new because that's the only club that I know anywhere that does that. So I went, there's only 3 names on here. Absolutely. So I apologize for putting my back to you, but the people that are being honored are right here. Ladies, I do too. Just as each color of the spectrum is distinctive, each officer of the Clark County Republican Women's Club has specific tasks. And I can drink that wine. As individual as each color of each task, so much more beautiful are the colors together as the result of the teamwork of the club. Stacy Jessup. As president, the color purple symbolizes the president. Purple is the color royalty. And the symbol of leadership. Being president is an honor and a privilege. But with this office comes many responsibilities. And do I know that? The president not only inspires loyalty, she creates a climate conducive to partnership and growth, inspiring all the officers and reminding them the beauty and strength that is found in all the colors of the rainbow. Liz Pike. As second vice president, your position is symbolized by the color blue. Blue is the symbol of fellowship and inspiration. The warmth of your attitude will be reflected through your efforts to inspire members to become active and productive members of your club and the Federation. Your job will be to relate to the members in the capacity of your assignment and assist in building teamwork and support. Marjorie, as treasurer, the color red symbolizes the treasurer. Red represents energy, and I can tell you that, vitality, and perseverance. As treasurer, you must be ever alert of the financial condition of your club. The color red gives you the stamina you need to fulfill your obligations. Members of the Clark Republican Women's Club, please work with your officers, and together you will be successful and achieve greatness. President Stacy, VP Liz, and Treasurer Marjorie, please repeat after me. Raise your right hand if you want to. I solemnly swear to live up to the provisions of the bylaws of the National Federation of Republican Women, the Washington Federation of Republican Women, and the Clark County Republican Women's Club, and to fulfill the duties incumbent to my office. Ta-da. Add a little something, because always be mindful of time when conducting meetings and committee functions. The time to do something is right now. Always make time to say thank you for all of those that contribute their time, and never forget, when you want something done, give it to the busiest Republican woman you know. Yes, because she will always find the time to do something else. Please honor your new officers. Just a little turtle. She'll have lots to say. Some of you may have heard that I'm from Wenatchee, and might I tell you, I'm a long way away from home. And this was a pleasure that I can't even begin to tell you, to come down here to Clark County and install these lovely ladies in their respective offices. It's probably the one thing, more than anything else, that I get the greatest pleasure from. Because to me, to see women that step up and announce that they are proudly Republican and serve our clubs means more than anything. Because I just feel like the more we have, the stronger that we are. And ladies, how fortunate are you to have these gentlemen support you? Because without our spouses backing us, our local politician, men as associates, we wouldn't be able to get very far. Because if they're like my husband, they're at home saying, "You're going where? And when are you coming home?" And in many times I say, "You have to go with me." If I give him a choice, I'm going solo. Because he would rather be at home than sit through one more Republican dinner. Many of you new members are new to that are new to the Federation. You might not know what is WFRW and what is NFRW. It is a federated organization with the mission to unite and empower women with an informed voice of influence. In theory, that sounds good. In today's political environment, it's hard to stay united. The best I have to offer on that front is think of the alternative. President Clinton, We had one of those once, and we didn't want another one. President Sanders, oh my word, I can't even fathom the idea. He had 8 years of that alternative, and we were worse off the day he left than the day that he came in. Those choices right there should be enough to encourage all of us to unite. There are so many variables to being a Republican. And as I become an adult, I find that to be rather unusual. Because I grew up in a state where you were either a Democrat or you were a Republican. There was no fringe. You registered that way and you voted that way. When it comes right down to it, we are in a battle of our lives with the left. Because they are systematically trying to destroy our party. They have the tools to do it, and they are effective at doing it. So we do have to unite as one. In spite of our differences, we are all in this together. Don't forget it. We need to fight the battle on that united front, stand together as Republicans, and stand together as Republican women. We are pivotal in that effort. Some of you may not realize that this club is part of a federation that is still the largest organized women's organization in the United States. We have over 1,500 clubs, 55,000 members, and we wield a big stick of influence in Washington, D.C. Every spring, we go have our version of Day at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., and it is an awesome sight because there are women wearing red from all over this country, and those legislators, listen. They are excited to have us there, they are proud to have us there, and they show us off in force. The NFR, there is strength in numbers. And that's why I'm out here trying to encourage you to recruit and stick together, because that's what it takes. Our organization does cast a big shadow. And for some of you that participated in Rosie the Bus rallies across this country, it was pretty amazing because it ended with our Federation president and Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. So we accomplished something in the efforts to get a Republican president elected. I frequently, yes. I am frequently asked, how do we empower women? I started to make a list and decided that it would be better to count the women. U.S. Secretary of Transportation, Elaine Chao. U.S. Small Business Administrator, Linda McMahon. U.S. Representative Marsha Blackburn. Our own Kathy McMorris Rogers. And a dozen more. Several U.S. senators. 3 state governors. And 20 state elected officials, including our own Kim Wyman. State Senate presidents, House speakers, RNC chair, Ms. McDaniel, campaign manager and current counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, and former RNC chair and the current ambassador to Costa Rica, Sharon Day. Do you see a common denominator? Our federated women are driven, successful, powerful women that are rewarded for their hard work and achievements. We should be proud because each and every one of those names that I mentioned are members of this federation. We have these extremely influential Republican women leading the charge. And that may be fine and dandy. But you might ask, what does that federation do for me, and why do we pay dues? I hear that every year. Where does it go? Well, your dues provide the federation with the resources to support these candidates across our country. So where we live in Washington State, and we wonder if we're ever going to get a governor that is a Republican, if we're ever going to get a lieutenant governor or another AG that's Republican. We work hard across this country, and we have successfully gotten these people elected and in positions of power. That is where your dues go. So they are not totally wasted. At the fall board meeting, we announced a campaign called Women Who Wear Red, and that has nothing to do with the color of the jacket that I wear from time to time. What does it mean to you to be a woman who wears red? And we have talked about this quite a bit. To me, it means our Republican women are proactive within their communities. There is more to being a Republican woman than campaigning, although we do a very good job of that. We do work hard to get our candidates elected. But again, there's more to being a Republican woman. We need to make our presence known within our communities, working on foundations, nonprofits, and where our community needs us the most. Because there is a misnomer out there that we don't care. And we have discovered that clubs that are very active in their communities across the country and across our state flourish. Because it's kind of interesting, you can be working side by side with someone that you are assuming is liberal, and then some kind of conversation changes a little bit and you find out that they're not, that they have conservative leanings, and all of a sudden you say, did you know that there's a Republican Women's Club? And you have a new member. So it is a very successful way of getting our presence known. So women, wear red. And that means roll up your sleeves, get out there in your community, make your presence known, and be a good steward of the Clark County Republican women. Show that we care. There's no war on women. I don't feel threatened by the GOP, and I'm assuming none of you do either. I know that this one is going to be driving to Moses Lake, so I'm just going to kind of pass the baton back to you. But I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here. I wish you were a little closer.
Thank you so much, Dee. She's truly been an inspiration for me personally throughout this last year. It's truly an honor to serve with her and with all of you, so thank you so much. I'm going to invite Brooke Pell up to do our silent auction items. Brooke Pell is our first VP.
Well, I'm going to start out with a bang because I won the Obama book. Unless someone would like to bid against me, it's currently at $15. So if anybody would like to bid over $15 for that book, let me know now, or I'm taking it home. Okay, it's mine. The Mason Jar Bird Feeder set is at $35 currently. Would anybody anybody like to go above the $35? Hey, Sharon Long, it's yours. The Black Oak Merlot is currently at $20. Would anybody like to go above the 20 for the Merlot? Okay, Jim Curry, that's yours. And when we wrap up, just make sure that you go see Anna Miller and get her the payment. And she'll have these forms. The beautiful American flag table runner donated by Anita is at $15 right now. Would anybody else like to get above the 15? 20? 20? 25? 25? Anyone else want to go above 25? Okay, it's going to Liz for 25. Farm fresh eggs that Liz brought, the 30 representing our 30th year, is currently at $30. Would anybody like to bid above the $30 for the farm fresh eggs? Okay, that is going all the way back to a national D. And the beautiful garden basket that Margie brought in is absolutely gorgeous, and that is sitting at $55 right now. Would anybody like to bid above the 55? Okay, so I'm going to go to Larry. Please make sure that you see her for the payments. Oh, the Trump signs. They all have one. Okay. So there's 3 America is Great Again signs, and someone bid on it for 20. I don't have the paper in front of me. But there are 2 more, so if anybody else would like to get them, feel free to go find Anna, and you can pick those up and pick them.
All right, now's the fun time. I'm going to invite second Vice President Liz Pike up for Trump Bucks.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to take this microphone and hopefully it'll still work as we go around the room. So for those of you that are first timers here, we have Trump Bucks reserved at the end of our meeting, and the idea is to pay homage to our wonderful Republican President Trump, who speaks truth to power. Gotta love that. And basically how it works, if you've ever been a member of a Rotary Club, they have something called Pride Dollars. So this is kind of a takeoff on that, and it's your opportunity to brag about something that happened to you that's really cool, like you got a promotion, or you won an election, or you have a new grandchild, or you get the idea. So I'll start it off, and I have 7 Trump Bucks. My husband, well, that's a Trump Buck by itself. My husband is being honored tonight, and had it not been for this important, auspicious evening, I would have been with him at the Skills Center dinner. That's our Cascadian Technical Academy here in Clark County, and he's being honored for his wonderful volunteer work in their brand new aviation program. They're teaching the next generation of aviators, and there's 6 simulators there, and he spends every single Wednesday there teaching the next generation of pilots how to fly airplanes. And so he's being honored tonight at a special dinner at the Skills Center of Cascadian Technical Academy. So I have a buck for him. Another buck because he married me in November. After 10 years of courtship. And then I have another buck because my wonderful friend John Lee has announced that he is going to run for my seat in the Washington State House of Representatives. And I have another Trump buck for Trump because I am so happy that he is making liberal heads explode every day. And I think there was something else that I can't remember because I'm 58 now. So we'll move on to the first Trump buck. Okay, Carolyn Crane.
Okay, I have 2 Trump bucks here. One of them is just to remind you all that Monday is the Walk for Life at Olympia, and as Republican women and some fathers in the room, I suggest you all show up and stand up for the children that are waiting to become Republicans, okay? My second note there is to make note that I had the privilege of meeting with Kim Wyman on January 3rd and discussing several issues that are really huge with regards to voters and voter laws in Washington State. And I was thrilled that our Representative Vicki Caldwell-Craft called in on the phone and spent 30 minutes in that process. And we had a chance to chat through some bills. And I did get the email, and I am going to say thank you to Vicki. She made a huge effort on a suggestion that I had brought forward with regards to a bill, and there is a hearing on the 24th at 8 a.m. We're taking a bus of people. I want a car caravan of everybody going north to stand up and speak in the legislature on your right to vote on being annexed.
Thank you, Carol. Great. I not my 58-year-old memory. My other trump buck was Washington State House Republicans saved water rights.
Yeah.
Last night on the House floor at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So, you can
So
thank,
be there Monday, be there
but
Wednesday.
you can thank House Republicans for that.
So I have a $5 IOU. I know I'm not a Democrat, I promise I'll take it. So I just want to thank my dear friend and just a gold star person, Liz Pike, for her 10 years of public service. She started out in canvas and the city council, and then she went on to the state rep position. And she's just, I mean, what can I say? She's a promise keeper. She's taken the bullets, she's taken the heat. People that know her know that her word is her bond. And, you know, that's all we really ask of our politicians. That's all we ask of our state representatives. That's all we ask of our representatives anywhere, is that they keep their word. And if they can't keep their word, they tell us why. And they tell us how they did a better job for us, and that they learned new information, and so they had to make a different decision. And we're okay with that. We're reasonable people. But I've run into very few people in my life that I can say that when Liz gives me her word, she kept it. So she's a gold star person to me, and she's also my neighbor. So I appreciate her so much. And thank you for your service, Liz. If you want to,
I didn't know you could do that. Chuck Miller?
Okay, if you would like to really find out what your Congress members are doing, okay, and what kind of a score they have, okay, if you were to go to Mark Levin, have you ever heard of Mark Levin? Oh, yeah. Well, he has conservativereview.com. You can go to conservativereview.com and you can go to the Liberty Score and you can look up exactly what kind of a score your Congress members have. And I would suggest that you do that so you know exactly what they're doing and whether they're doing what you want them to do. And if they're not, you need to get on the phone and email them. Secondly, if you want to really know what's going on, okay, in the nation, okay, and you're tired of seeing the fake news out there, okay, like President Trump says, there's plenty of it out there, okay. What you need to do is you need to go and order a Whistleblower magazine, okay. It's put out by WorldNet Daily, and it is awesome. I mean, it will it will really bring you up to date as to what's going on in our nation like nothing else you've ever seen before. It is awesome. Thank you very much.
This money and he has something to say too. But I can speak first. Ladies first. Okay, here we go. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to our veterans. And whatever's going on out there. He is one of them. And he has something to say in a minute, but I get to speak first. And,
Right up to the mouth.
okay. You can't hear me without this thing?
No.
Okay, and the pro-life march is going on currently, and it reminded me, and I think several of you might remember Sally Harrington, who used to be one of us.
Yes.
Yep. Who remembers
Go Sally!
Yes, Sally. She and I got on a train or a plane, or I can't even remember, it was so long ago, and we went to a march back there, and I think it was for the Tea Party March, but anyway, it was a march in Washington where there were hordes of us out there, and it was so, what a wonderful feeling of united togetherness, and we're here, oh my goodness, and the support and the strength. And then we cleaned up after ourselves, and there wasn't not even a gumdrop left on the grounds behind us, as opposed to a lot of the marches that go on back there now, where they've got to call in extra crews cleanup crews to clean up their mess. And they didn't even use the cleanup crews when we were there. And my friend here, Jim Curry, would like to say a few words. Or one word.
I have a question. Are you running for something?
No,
I'm
not.
You're not going to do that?
No.
Okay.
Only out on the microphone. You represent a big crowd.
First $20 is for my husband, Paul Kraft, who has joined tonight. And the second dollar is to add to the other half of Representative Pike's statement. Not only did we get the Hearst bill passed, which was the key, and that was critical, but once we did that, we were also able to pass the capital budget, which is huge because we have hundreds of millions of dollars coming into Clark County, and truly, it's probably the most robust capital budget project funding that has come into Southwest Washington. You could answer better than I, but a very long time. So it's a big win for all of us. So
Representative Kraft is a member of the House Capital Budget Committee, so we owe you a debt of gratitude for bringing that bacon home to Clark County. Bonnie Jo Freeman, our immediate past president.
Okay, check this out. You want to count them? We trust you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. This is big news. So we all know the line, it's not a tumor. But my husband had one. And that was scary because the doctors, I don't know, they started out on the extreme worried side of, oh, this is precancerous. And it was in his arm from here to here and into his chest. And it grew in a matter of 2 months massively. Well, that's not good. It shouldn't grow that fast. And we won't be able to remove it all because all of your veins and your nerve endings are entangled with that tumor. And so months go by of testing and planning. There was no sign of cancer in the blood test and in the biopsies, and thank God for that. December 22nd, it was a tumor, but it was not cancerous. And it did all come out with no injuries to his arm. Anyway,
We are so happy to hear that news,
Yes.
Connie Jo.
Good news.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Pat Brady, and Sharon Boyle is my sister. And she started inviting us to the meetings. And I brought two more friends. Well, Sharon brought two more friends. My friend Rosie and my friend Linda. And both of them joined tonight.
Thank you so much for joining our club.
Hi, I'm going to piggyback on what Carol was talking about, the March for Life. I have all the details, and I have a sign-up sheet for that. We're going to be meeting at 12 noon at Wynn Victory Monument and start walking from there to the state capitol steps. So if you want to join us, please sign up. We're looking for people who have voices and who are not afraid to stand up for what's right. And yes, the other bug. One more bug is because I was just there earlier at our city hall for pro-life, and so it was a little amount of group that was there, but still the word went out. People still came by and honked their horns, and we're all for life. Anyway, thank you.
What better use of bucks than to say thank you for the stock market? Look at the results.
I have $3 because you may not know, but we actually have a member that sits on the executive committee as an officer from Washington, yes, we're in Washington, and that's Eileen Sobjack. And she's from Whatcom County, and she is second VP of NFRW. So you've got somebody leading the charge right here from Washington State. I also want to announce, and this may be on the announcements, go ahead. I paid. Wednesday, February 7th is our day at the Capitol. And ladies, wear red and come out in force, because your legislators, and I know that Liz can really speak to this, but they appreciate having you there. They do battle every day, and when they see the support from their districts, it is greatly appreciated. So come out in force. And one last thing is we have 4 very, very important congressional races in this state this year. And we cannot afford to lose 4 Republican congressmen. And WFRW is going to do everything that we can to put together a strike force, as NFRW has done on the East Coast and down in the South, and we're going to try and organize our sister states to get people to come in for Republican congressmen out of the state of Washington.
John Lee, got a couple bucks?
Well, the first buck is for my dear friend and fellow Delta pilot, Neil Cahoon, because he got the bell of the ball. Congratulations. And my second buck is out of unbelievable gratitude that as part of the citizen effort fighting Oregon's outrageous tolling program, we got Eileen Quiring on the not so much value pricing program. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Johnny. Okay, who's got a trump card? Are we winding down here? Okay, Anita.
I just like to
see a Democrat candidate.
The little head exploding thing, that happens every day. Okay, is that it? Okay, thank you so much for being generous. All the money we raise goes into more activities that help spread the Republican gospel, okay?
Thank you, Liz. And actually, we did forget to do our raffle. So, Brooke, would you like to come back up and we'll quickly do our raffle? We've got 2 items to give away tonight. We have this beautiful hand-painted dish with some candy. And we also have the winner of this is entitled to 1 free dinner at CCRW dinner in 2018. So, free dinner and a beautiful hand-painted dish with some candy. So those are your white tickets. Everybody find your white ticket and we'll have 2 drawings for that one. Who doesn't like free stuff, right?
So the first drawing we'll do for the free dinner, and I will have one of our newer members draw. You know, the last person that said that actually got it. And it worked, right? So we've got 0722 is the last 4. 0722. Okay, right here.
Let's see.
Okay. And the beautiful hand, this is gorgeous. I hope it's mine. I have mine in my hand. I'll have Vicky.
How can I draw a number?
Sure. The last 4, well, isn't that funny? 0721.
So our next drawing is for a $100 gift certificate to Cascade Day Spa. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to Brooke. Everyone who registered,
You want to explain that those are for what that's for the membership that joined from October to December?
so everyone who joined or rejoined from October through December was eligible for the $100 spa gift card. So everyone's name is in this envelope who signed up before the first of the year. So this drum roll, please.
Okay. Ruth Ann Hughes.
Thank you. This goes to Ruth Ann Hughes. We are going to do another incentive, a membership drive incentive. This time it's going to be for a $75 gift card. And Anna, maybe you can remind me, I know it's January through February.
Yes, anyone that joins or renews January and February is entered in the spa.
And we'll put them in here, correct? So we'll
Yes.
keep the names that registered early and we'll
No, it's a new drawing.
New drawing. Anyone who joins or rejoins January through February is going to be entered into another drawing, and that will be held at our March meeting, and that is again this month and next month. So let's get our friends and family and neighbors to join the CCRW. We've got an exciting year ahead. It's like our down to awards. I apologize, I know we're skipping around a little bit tonight, it's just a little unusual for us. I do have to drive to Moses Lake tonight for the Republican State Committee meeting tomorrow morning. We are electing a new chair. Susan Hutchison is stepping down, so I'm kind of powering through this tonight, so please forgive me. But I do want to, the next thing is announce our volunteer of the month. This lady, quarter, sorry, volunteer of the quarter. Yeah, move this to volunteer of the quarter. This wonderful Clark County Republican Women's Club member has donated a lot of her time to many different events, helping candidates, helping our party, or helping our club in lots of different ways. And this goes to Sharon Boyle. Yay! Sharon, and the next dinner is on me.
Okay, turn this way. I'm going to take a picture. Put your certificate up there. All right. Wait a minute. Okay.
She's a better volunteer than this, you guys.
All right, now we're going to smile. The other thing I'd like to add to this, I kind of nominated her and I didn't have any resistance. And the reason is because, one of the reasons is Sharon has been at every one of our meetings since like October, way back, year back October. She was one of the first ones on the scene, helped us revitalize the club. And she has brought so many guests all the time. I mean, you look at her table here, the Boyle table, most of these people she brought just about every time she brings new members, new people. That's really fantastic. And so we invite all of you to do the same.
Thank you. And thank you, Sharon. You do so much. It's hard to just narrow it down to a couple of things. But we really appreciate you, and we're so glad to be sisters in our Clark County Republican Women's Club. So announcements. We do have our WFRW Day at the Capitol. Deewry just told us a little bit about that. That is February 7th. It's coming up very quickly, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can go ahead and like, if you have a Facebook page, you can like the WFRW on your Facebook page or on their website. Or if you need help signing up, just call one of us or email us. We're happy to do that. A couple of us are going to be carpooling. So if you're interested in carpooling with your CCRW sisters, then shoot us an email, a phone call, a text. We're always available one way or another. It's $6 for no lunch. It's $21 if you decide to eat lunch with the WFRW. And actually, I want to invite our immediate past president, Connie Jo. She had a few things she wanted to announce. She talked to me before the meeting. Connie Jo, come on up.
Speaking of county councilors, Councilor Olson and Twiring, I got that right. You get in front of the crowd and forget your own name. I love others. They have declared the weekend, including February 25th, was it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe? Or Saturday, Sunday? We have the proclamation for prayer for Clark County. And because Councilor Twiring is the counselor for Washougal, which is where I attend church, I asked her if she would come that Sunday morning and read the proclamation for us. And may we please pray for you as our representative. And she accepted. So if you're not doing anything the 25th, February, Sunday morning, come on by Bethel Community Church and pray for Counselor Choir. We pray for all of you, of course, and appreciate you doing that, setting that time aside in honor of God Almighty and us needing Him in our lives. And speaking of which, we need God in our nation. We have had multiple people spoken tonight about life. And that is because this weekend is celebrating life. And we are fighting for life. 45 years ago, Monday, January 22nd, it is 45 years since America legalized abortion. Do you know that our friends to the south of us in Oregon, they allow abortions all the way up to 9 months, through 9 months, all the way up to the day of delivery? Do you know that Washington State came in 50th out of 50 for laws on abortion, I should say on life? And I would like to say that if you did not get to witness and hear President Trump's speech this morning in Washington, D.C. for the March of Life, March for Life, you need to Google it and listen to it. But I just want to take a moment and just talk about a couple of highlights because you said I could, and I really appreciate it. So these are some things that happened today. Now listen to this. All I got to do is find my little cheat sheet I was saying. President Trump's speech, he talked about one, he is changing two policies. One of them is to strengthen conscience protections for doctors and nurses. Held guilty for your own conscience that you don't want to abort a child. And so this is something that he has done. It's a policy that's been changed. Number two, he's going to give states the freedom to defund Planned Parenthood of medical dollars. This is what our House of Representatives did today. They passed the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act this very morning. We have to send it to the Senate. Now what that does is that it keeps anyone from aborting a child past 20 weeks. We'll take what we can get, folks, because that will save a lot of precious babies. And that is already a done deal in the House, and it's on its way to the Senate. And President Trump said, put it on my desk. I want to sign it.
Yay!
So, I want to thank you. Next year, you know, we get on buses, we get on planes. I'm going to the March of Life in D.C. next year. If you want to come, I'll be putting some words out. We'll get some airfare, and we'll find some floor space to sleep on or something. God bless you all.
So really quick, our next meeting is March 16th, same time, same place. I hope to see you all there. I'm going to now call for the good of the order. Any unfinished business that anyone? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Yes. All right. All right. We've got a motion and a second.